Hey, welcome to Let's Draw. My name is Aiden and I'm a freelance illustrator and graphic designer. Today we're going to do a little drawing about whatever's on my mind or whatever comes to my mind and just sort of freestyle it and go from there. Let's get into it. Drew this cool person riding a bike, so I was kind of thinking I might do that. And also I was drawing rats as well for a while, like mice and rats. So I'm kind of thinking I want to maybe draw something like that. So we'll just start drawing blank canvas and just sort of go from there. So I kind of want to get the tire. I kind of want this to be quite a big perspective. At the moment, I've just been trying to make my drawings more loose. Like I feel like I want them to be almost kind of like poorly drawn, I think. I think it just makes it look a little bit more, I don't know, authentic and like kind of lets my own sort of idea just be its own thing. It's actually quite difficult to draw and talk at the same time. So I'm just adjusting my threshold layer just to make it a little bit inky. So if I turn this off, it's basically just like this out of focus brush. And then the threshold just like forces it into like a solid black. But yeah, so I've been riding bikes so much lately. I'm more of a skate rat. But lately, I've been more of a bike rat as of late. Which is funny because there's a type of bike, which is probably similar to the one that I ride, called a rat bike. So I think it feels quite fitting to draw a rat riding a bike. Okay, this is pretty big. I think we're going to have to make the rat like really small. I think it's going to be kind of funny, but we'll see. I think I'm just going to go some crazy wide handlebars or something. You know, things don't have to be completely accurate all the time. I'm kind of just drawing from memory, and sometimes drawing from memory, you end up with more unique outcomes. Because I feel like if you use reference imagery too much, it can kind of influence your drawing to look too much like the reference imagery. Like I feel like I see drawings sometimes, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know what they've been looking at to get that effect. Cool. I feel like, let's see, we need some fingers. Kind of want the hands to be really big. I get some fingernails. Oh yeah. And this will kind of be the handlebar. Yeah, sick. So something I really like about this brush is because it's so blobby and rough, you can kind of really simplify the drawing to its most sort of, I don't know, roughest form, which I think is great. I mean, this is, if anything, like I usually do this like at the end of illustrations anyway. Like I just, like, you know, I chuck like the blur filter, or I do like image trace and then sharpen it, you know, try and bring it back, like wash out the form, like get the edges more blobby. So it's really fun to use this brush because it kind of just skips out all of that process, and then I can actually see what it looks like. Okay, that looks pretty sick. I'm liking that. It's like the urge to not make it like a devil or something, but I think rats are funnier. Let's go rats. It currently has no brakes. I feel like I want a nice big brake handle there. Should I get some flares maybe? Oh, that looks sick. Okay, I kind of love that. It's like the urge to make it symmetrical, but then also like its own thing at the same time. Well, I don't know now. I'm going to come back to this. We might come back to flares. We'll see how that looks. Cool. So we've kind of got the front. I feel like I want to draw a big rat face somehow. I feel like we'll do a big nose, and we want this rat having a great time. Let's get a real sort of crooked smile going. Oh, I don't know about this. Is it a mustache or is it a smile? Oh, okay. No, I'm kind of into this. Oh, I could just do like, it's looking more pig than rat. I think once we add ears and everything, it'll look more like a rat, and it'll be a rat bike. Okay, this is looking pretty cursed, not gonna lie. This is the funniest thing. It's like, when you kind of draw these, it's like, you do one little tweak, and it's a cat, or it's a mouse, or it's a rat, it's a pig. So I need to try and get this to look rat-like. Oh, yes, this is what I'm talking about. Yeah, if you draw some ears, it's a rat. If I draw it triangular, it's a cat. So we'll keep the safety going. Let's get a helmet. Now, I feel like I don't know what helmets really look like, or like the design of helmets. Just add in a whole bunch of lines. You know, this kind of speed holes on the front. One big one. It's a bit... Okay, hold up. Let me retry that. I think it needs to be a bit more... slightly more symmetrical. And then I was kind of liking this sort of front trim. It's funny when you just draw digital, it's like you kind of want to fight the urge to press undo all the time and then just keep drawing it and just see where you end up. And half the time, that's when you start to get into the great territory. I'm just going to give this little bit of a shrink. Okay, that's feeling good. All right, let's try and finish off these hands. There we go. Something I'm always trying to do with my drawings is just like hide the remainder of things like behind objects. So like I've got the brake levers, I don't have to draw the whole hand. You know, even this body here in front of the bike, I can probably try and... Okay, I think it needs to be more outward. Oh, yeah, there it is. I feel like it's one of those things where I can just kind of see it, and then as soon as I draw it, I'm like, okay, this is... I can see where we're going now. Okay, so this was like a little hand crease. We had a big old elbow. Cool. I mean, it's like not the most symmetrical thing, but I think that's kind of fun. I mean, when you're writing, you're kind of like bobbing and weaving anyway, so kind of checks out. And then we're kind of hiding half the bike because we're like the front-on view. This looks crazy. I kind of love this fill I did on the tire. Just a quick color in gives it that extra grip. I don't know. This could look... wait, hold up. I need to think about this. Well, I think if I want to be hiding it, I would technically need to be right against that frame. If it's like hiding there, maybe not so high. And then if I just put this on here, maybe. And then we kind of want some shoes. I mean, if anything, the shoes would probably just like cover the pedal. I'm kind of liking that. I was going to have them tilting down, but I think the front on makes the most sense. Oh, that's not too bad, actually. I kind of like this weird... See what I mean? I kind of did the undo, and now I've kind of lost that. Awesome. Okay, I'm quite liking that. I think if we add color, I can probably half sort of show where everything is a little bit more. All right, now the legs, they need to really come out. Oh, damn. I feel like I really like making just like rounded, almost like pointy style legs a little bit. And it's more like I feel like when I draw characters, I'm always trying to form into like some sort of shape. So I'm going like a real sort of pointy triangular look. Once again, just trying to hide everything. I mean, okay, hold up. Let's figure out I think the waist, probably about there. Honestly, you could probably just have that all colored in. This kind of looks hilarious. I mean, that's the look I want. Just like, it looks like it's drawn really poorly. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Hold up, we've got, that second leg needs reassessing. Okay, let's, I feel like the shoelace is right where I would want that leg to be. You know, try to keep it some similarity. Maybe this lace has gone straight through the middle. Cool, looks good. And then, oh, front pockets though. That would be cool. Front pocket? Cool, and then they're literally just sitting like right on the saddle. Cool, yeah, kind of love this one, you know, ripped knee. Okay, that looks good. And then I just want to add a little bit of shading. So create a bit more contrast. Now I feel like we need to add some dirt. You know what? I think I will. I kind of want to squish it. Yeah, I'm not afraid to squish. And it's, you know, if you do that, it's technically going to pixelate, but threshold layer keeps it all solid. It's kind of like splashing through a puddle or something like that. My brain is like, let's make that symmetrical, but doesn't have to necessarily be. Do we want to add some path lines? Yeah, I feel like we could add almost a whole scene. But let's just add some, like, this is the dirt path. Like if this was, you know, we're out in the mountain ranges. Is that gonna add to it? Do I just keep it as a nice little guy? Or do I build out an entire scene? Cool, okay, I'm pretty happy with this. It's kind of cursed and it's kind of terrifying, but I think that's what I like about it. So at the moment I've been a little bit obsessed with only using like Riso colors. So I saved all these swatches you can see, and these are all just like Riso colors that are available to print with. And then I've added in a fun little paper texture as well, just to give it that little bit of extra grit and sort of life to the drawing. You know, I've always been kind of against texture for so long, but I think just with the current landscape of digital drawings and everything being hyper real and smooth and shiny and clinical and gross, I'm like, you know what? I do prints anyway. Like I make zines. This is probably going to end up being a zine at some point. It makes sense to sort of lean into that a little bit more. Cool. So the way I kind of set up my files for coloring in is I've got my two color layers here. So I've got my first color, which is a nice sort of bright yellow. Let's paint that straight in. And I'm just using a blending mode on my top layer, multiply, which then just makes all the colors come up through the top. Cool, and then on my second layer, I've got a blue, which looks quite good. So the trick with color overlay is you can just kind of change the color whenever you want. So if I double click it and say, okay, I don't want to draw with yellow anymore, I'm going to make it orange. It now changes whatever's on that layer to orange. So it's really great to just sort of start coloring in. you can kind of muck around the colors later without having to redraw everything. Now, I kind of got a crazy set with blending mode. So I've got my 2 color layers set to screen, but with the color overlay, I've got it set to multiply. So now, if I draw over the top with the blue, you can see now it's creating that green. So it's kind of quite reminiscent of a risograph, which is sort of the effect I'm going for. So it's a bit of a weird process. If someone knows of a better way of how to set this up, I'd love to know. But at the moment, it's layers set to screen, color overlay set to multiply. Okay, so let's have some fun with coloring in. So if you're familiar with Risos, you can go a bit nuts with transparency. So if I want 50% transparency on the blue, now the only thing is when you're painting with the transparent brush, if I were to lift up and start drawing again, it's going to draw over the top of that at the same 50%, and it's going to create a sort of doubled effect, you know, because it's transparent. So see if I draw on it again, it's now drawing another 50% over the top. That makes it 100%. So I kind of want to actually do that to the pockets. So we're kind of going for a 2 to 3 color. I guess it's technically 3 colors because I got black in here. But lately I've been experimenting with different transparencies. So trying to keep the colors very restricted. So 2 to 3 colors, but then exploring different transparencies, how the inks sort of come together. So I quite like that. That's probably, yeah, looks pretty good. Cool. So you know what? I actually want to get rid of the blue here, and I'm just going to make another layer. I'm just going to call that black for now. And we'll make that 25% because I kind of want to go silver. Yeah. So something I've really been into like using gray in my work lately. I don't know what's something about it. I think it just kind of gives this extra look. Maybe into the helmet as well. And then, you know, I might even put these in the clouds as well. So I'm just going to keep sort of going back and forth through each layer and then just slowly painting in each one. So I kind of love this 100% yellow, but let's maybe set this to, well, if we do the Rizzo thing, okay, let me cook. So if I paint in my yellow shirt, and this is just at 100%, you know, I might even go 50% if this doesn't quite look how I want it to look. Awesome. And now if I get the blue, that now is converting it to a green. But is that too hectic of a green? Oh yeah, 50%. I'm like, give me that lime. That lime green looks great. Oh, sick. Yeah. Love this. Oh, this is really cool. This is why I really like kind of drawing in like the Rizzo space, is that I feel like it restricts my thinking a little bit more in terms of colors, but then exploring different transparencies is a lot of fun. I might just make that full 100%, or at least another layer of the 50. And what does that do? I don't know. I think I just want to keep it yellow. I think less is more. Let's just make it yellow. Yeah. But then we'll add in some more grays around those trims. And, you know, I should be naming my layers, but I'm just a little bit lazy. Or at least I think the rat needs to be gray. Maybe we can do gray, but then I'll add in like a 10% yellow. And then that'll hopefully give it a bit more of like a warm tinge. So once again, there's countless other ways to probably speed up this process. But I kind of love just sitting here and just sort of coloring it in. There's something about it. It just helps my brain switch off, and I'm just coloring in between the lines. Cool. Okay, yeah, I kind of like this. Being quite rough with it as well. I think it's fun to be a bit messy with this stuff. You know, if things aren't completely filled in correctly, there's a few gaps, a bit of white paper coming through. I think it just adds to the drawing itself. Cool. I kind of love this color. This weird sort of yellow gray. Awesome. And then we'll get that. What was that? Oh man, I've forgotten. This is why we should write these down. I think it was only 10%. Oh no, I've fully forgotten. I think it was 25%. That looks pretty good. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, no, it was 25%. I was just like, wait a minute, this doesn't look right. Cool. Awesome. Now I feel like if I get some bright blue grips, oh yeah. Maybe it's like a blue logo, and then we'll get some grays. Let's get 50%, and this will be like a darker sort of stem. Cool, and then a little bit darker there. And then let's get those petals. We'll just keep them gray. Now the shoes, I kind of want to have them as like matching shoes. with the jumper maybe. So if I go, see, it's like I'm trying to recreate the green. I've already forgotten. 100%. Oh, I kind of love this dark one. Okay, I'm just, you know what? I'm gonna run that. So it's 100% blue, 50% yellow. This is kind of fun, just, you know, trial and error and see what sticks. I mean, I feel like I almost don't even need to color in this much and then just put a big old colored background. I think I'm gonna try that. I feel like I don't want this to be too, it's already so colorful, but I don't want it to be like a complete color in. Yeah, I'm like, I kind of want this to be a little bit dirty because it is kind of like the ground. Let's just chuck a colored background in, so where I kind of just sort of see if I were to print this on yellow paper, what does it look like? I kind of love this like gold color because it just reminds me of craft paper, and I think it just looks so fun. Purple is kind of amazing. Honestly, craft wins. I mean, if anything, I should just lighten the color to be like an off-white color. Awesome. Okay, I kind of love it. It's just like simple, easy, you know, a little bit of crazy coloring. You know, if you want to be full Rizo, you could like always offset everything a little bit. Move that a little bit off. It'd be full Rizo spec, because you can never get anything lined up, which, you know, it's kind of cool. I might, hold up, let's give that a little nudge. Well, the blue looks too crazy. I think because the yellow is already such a light color. Yeah, I kind of love the yellow being offset. I think I'm going to leave that. Awesome. Okay. Well, there we go. I think we're done. I mean, I might muck around with this for a little bit more, but this is the general process of how I color in something. At least my current obsession is how I color it in as a risograph. But awesome. Thanks for watching. Alrighty, so we finished that drawing. Pretty happy with that. This is how it turned out. Exported in a few different colors, tweaked them a little bit more. But yeah, pretty happy with this. You know, I might turn this into a sticker or a zine or a print or whatever. But yeah, I'm planning on doing more of these Let's Draw videos in the near future. So if you want to see more, like and subscribe. If you want to see more of my work, go to my Instagram and website. It's linked in the description. And yeah, comment below if you want to see me draw something specific. Like, I would love to draw your prompts. So say whatever's on your mind and I'll draw it and I'll add it into a Let's Draw video in the future. Awesome. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.